Hello, and thank you for stopping by the channel. My name is Nadira, and this is the second movie review video on my personal channel. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the movie Bad Hair. I recently watched this movie a couple weeks ago on Hulu. It came out in 2020, and a lot of people were kind of talking about it when it first came out, but as I said before, I recently watched it and I have some thoughts and opinions, obviously, on this movie. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. So Bad Hair is a black satirical horror movie that came out in 2020. It is directed by Justin Simien, and he is also the director of Dear White People. And the movie stars Elle Lorraine, Jay Farrell, Vanessa Williams, and Blair Underwood, just to name a few. And Elle Lorraine plays a young woman named Anna. She works for this black TV station, and after undergoing new management, Anna is basically forced to change up her hair in order to progress through the company. So first she was, team natural, but she ends up getting a sew-in, and she realizes that there's something weird about her sew-in, and it is like this magical sentient being just set out to destroy any and everybody, essentially. There are multiple themes in this movie, and the four main things are texturism, colorism, sexism, and racism. However, I mostly want to focus on texturism and colorism. As I said before, Anna is forced to change her hairstyle in order to progress through the company. So now the company or the TV station is under new management, and the new management or the new person in the position of power is Vanessa Williams. She plays the character Zora, and she's a black woman. She's also a woman of a lighter complexion. She also has like the straight sew-ins, and even like her other assistants who are actually like dark-skinned black women, which we will get to that in a second. They also have not the long straight hair, but they do have like straight relaxed hair or weaves or sew-ins in general as well. And so she basically gives Anna a card to her hairstylist, who is actually played by Laverne Cox. So she goes in, she gets the sew-in, and when she finally comes back to work on Monday, now she is like, everyone's like recognizing her, everybody, including like the white people, because the TV station is actually set in a building that's owned by, white people. And so now all the white people are like looking at her. And I do feel as though this is a situation that happens in real life. As a black woman, we are like constantly changing up our hair, which I love that for us. I love that about us. We can go from braids to wigs to weaves to like natural styles. It just depends on our mood. And I do feel like a lot of times this doesn't necessarily happen in like black spaces, but a lot of times in non-black spaces, whenever black women switch up their hair, it's like a whole phenomenon. Everyone is like looking at you, and everyone's like, there are people who genuinely like your hair, and they're complimenting you. It's like, oh my god, I love the braids, I love the twist. But then you have other people who are just like, oh my god, your hair is, what did you do to your hair? And they just make this whole big thing. So when Anna came in and she was like recognized for her hair, that was actually very relatable. Now, when she got up to the TV station, the black space, and everything like that, when she got up there, again, people was like recognizing her or like paying her more attention. But this wasn't, it was more so, some people were looking at her in a state of like awe, whereas like some of her homegirls were just looking at her like, oh, you conformed and this, that, and the third, and blah, 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 which is what I want to get into, is a sense of conformity, where a lot of black women feel as though when they get into certain spaces, they have to conform to a certain look, to a certain identity in order to fit in. And unfortunately, that's just the reality that we live in. A lot of people don't really appreciate our natural hair. They don't appreciate, the kinky, curly, coily hair texture. And there are laws that are being passed about hair discrimination in schools and just workspaces in general. And the fact that we are at this point where we have to pass a law about this is very like disheartening, and it's very sad, because I do feel as though we as women, we as like black women, we should be, our hair doesn't, just because our hair is a certain way does not mean that we have any less value, if that makes sense. Now, on the other side of that, when you do wear your hair in a certain way, people do have a perceived notion or preconceived notion about you. Anna, as well as some of her other homegirls, there's another character, her name is Brooklyn. She is played by Lena Waithe. They all have like their natural hair, and one of her other friends, her name is like Soul Sister. She has a segment on the show where it's just like all about like black power, black empowerment, this, that, and third. And of course she has her hair in a certain way. So of course, because her hair is like that kinky, coily, afro puffs, whatever the case may be, she is perceived in a certain way, most likely, you know, the black power, the black militant way. And even though that is her segment on the show, in real life, that is a real thing, where it's like if you wear your hair out in afro or afro puffs or braids or whatever, people think that you are this like black power militant minded person, and it's like that's not necessarily the case. It's just, this is just how I wanted to wear my hair. The second theme that I wanted to talk about was colorism. As I said before, Vanessa Williams plays the part of Zora. She's light skinned and she also has dark skinned assistants. And I just found this very interesting. Like, the optics on that was kind of weird, because again, you have like this lighter skinned woman in power with like her darker skinned assistants or her darker skinned lackeys behind her. And I did talk about colorism a little bit in my video on my other channel, where I talked about Amandla Steinberg playing a certain role in the Children of Blood and Bone movie. So I'll also link that below so you guys can go and check that out. But the point is like the optics just did not look right, because a lot of people in this movie were of a darker complexion, brown skin complexion. And I think Vanessa Williams was like the lightest character in this movie. And so the optics of her being like this lighter skinned woman having like darker skinned women, like darker skinned women surrounding her, was kind of weird, and the optics just didn't look right. Also, a part of the foreshadowing in this book is that the name of the TV station is called Culture, you know, like for the culture, but then Vanessa Williams wanted to change the name from Culture to this Cult. Really, sis? But anyway, that's just a little bit of foreshadowing. The next topic that I wanted to talk about was racism. So as I said before, the TV studio is set in located in a building that is owned by white people. And the main person, or the manager, I guess the person who owns the company, is James Van Der Beek. He plays Grant Madison. He is the one who basically made all the changes, saying that, oh, this will be great for, you know, the company. This will be great for the TV station, da 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 da. Which in real life, great for who? Great for who? And I feel as though a lot of times, you know, I'm just going to be honest, like white management likes to come in and take over. Okay, let me get my stuff together. White management likes to come in and take over and claim that all the changes that they're making is for the betterment of the community or for the betterment of the company, which in reality it really isn't. It's just them trying to make everything more palatable to a white audience. And so there's that. There's a lot of like racism. And I remember there's a scene where Anna, this is like before she got her hair done, Anna had accidentally bumped into Grant Madison, and he didn't know who the hell she was, even though she works for his company. And so he's just like, I hope she doesn't work here. And it's just like, really, sir? And the last thing I wanted to talk about, there was some form of sexism as well. So like I said, Jay Farrell is in this movie. He plays the character Julius, and him and Anna have like an on again off again relationship, and he like breaks it off. However, he starts noticing her a little bit more once she got the weave in. But when it came to who had the ideas, who was like the idea maker, basically, it was Anna. However, she was passed up for Julius. And it's crazy because even though they both are black, they're both minorities, Julius is still a man. And so, of course, he is going to climb the social ladder more than she is. And actually, Zora and Julius were actually like sleeping together, basically. So he was kind of using his, I don't know, masculinity or whatever. He was kind of like giving himself up. I don't know. The point is, he was doing certain things that propelled him up the social ladder as compared to Anna, because like I said, Anna is the one with all of the smarts, all of the ideas. She's a creative genius, so to speak, but yet she's passed up for a man, basically. The ending was something. So for right now, I will put a spoiler alert here. I will put one in the beginning of the video, but like I said, Anna gets a weave and she starts having weird things start to occur, like the hair has a mind of its own and it's like the sentient being, and basically the hair needs blood to survive, and it basically starts like killing people just to survive. And her uncle, played by Blair Underwood, he's like a professor of like black mythology or something like that, and he gives her a book. And in the book, it talks about this girl, the name of the story is called Moss Girl, and how this young black woman, or this young black girl, was a slave, and she used the moss from a tree as like this hair, but the hair had a mind of its own, and it was like killing the plantation owners or whatever. And so fast forward to the end of the movie, you find out that James Vanderbeek's character, Grant Madison, he actually owns the place where the hair was being harvested and sold in the black community. Like, his ancestors were the plantation owners, so all of like the hair that was being sold in like the stores and like the hair salons in the black community were coming from his ancestors' plantation. And so I thought this was kind of interesting, because it's just like, was this trying to say that he knew the story and he was intentionally selling weave in order to get over on the black people that killed his ancestors? I was kind of confused about that. Maybe y'all can let me know in the comments below, because I'm not gonna lie, the ending very much confused me. I kind of wish it didn't end like that. I felt as though it was just done for like shock value, and congratulations, because it worked. But again, it was just like very confusing, because in the beginning of the movie you do see all the workers like harvesting the hair, and then you find out at the end of the movie that, it was the tree is still there. It was on the plantation that was owned by Grant Madison's ancestors from like years ago. And so again, it's like, did he know the story of the Moss Girl, and that, oh, I'm gonna take this and like sell it as hair, and then I will avenge my ancestors? I don't know the situation, but that's kind of what I took from it. But still, it was kind of confusing. And now we have come to the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down below. If you made it to the end of this video and you enjoyed it, go ahead and give the thumbs up. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch up with you guys next time. Bye.